So this is a test of the GoPro Hero 7 on my full face helmet, and this is a run down the rock infested South Saint Vrain trails.
Straight into the rocks.
Now I was focused just on testing the camera footage. At the moment I noticed that the mount is producing a lot of clicks and noise, so I'm going to have to work on that. Also as well today, my exposure control was off, so you're going to see some like fluttering of the exposure as I descend down the trail. That can easily be fixed. If I can cure the clicks, the footage is going to be kind of fairly dynamic and show how the trail really runs. One of the things I like is the corner here. Because I'm looking into the corner, you don't get any of the lag that you get with the GoPro when it mounted onto the gimbal. The gimbal is always after the corner, catching up, whereas here I'm looking into the corner and around we go. Oh, and stay tuned all the way to the end for a surprise scene that'll make you laugh. So here's a question for you. The gimbal usually smooths out the trail and makes the rocks not look significant at all. Some of these rocks are pretty significant. They take quite a beating up through the bars of the bike. Are you seeing a more dynamic trail feature here? Do they look more significant than what I show when I do gimbal views of these type of rocky trails? Let me know in the comments. Now here we're actually descending a fairly steep grade. Usually again the gimbal won't show any kind of real elevation change on the video. Everything looks kind of flat. I'm not 100% convinced that this is showing the same kind of grade that I'm actually feeling when I'm riding the bike, but I think it's better. Let me know.
Yeah. It is rumoured there is a trail somewhere beneath all these rocks. To quote another rider.
Now this video is recorded on Super View. It captures more of the scenery and the frame. It kind of makes it look a little faster as well, off at the sides. But honestly, it feels fast when you're descending this, even though realistically I'm probably doing 8 to 10 miles an hour on a lot of this. But you know, is this distortion bad? I don't know. Let me know.
Oh, which way am I going? Shit. I lifted it up.
Got some rocks.
Just a few. Ah.
Now this next descent I made a real mess of today. It's about a 30% grade and it drops through a bunch of big rocks that can capture your wheel. It's very intimidating, but there's lines down it and you can ride it.
Ah, bollocks that all up.
But it's one of these ones where you really need to carry some speed as you head into it. You can't do it slow. Slow is death instantly to any kind of forward momentum. Your wheel will catch on the rock and it's not going to work.
There we go.
This angle does make it a lot easier to see where I stall out or mess up on the trail. Particularly on things like these rocks here, where I came to an abrupt halt and then had trouble getting going again. I also think this angle conveys the height of this rock here. That type of rock would often get lost when shown in gimbal footage.
First you need a reasonable amount of speed, otherwise it's impossible to carry these rocks.
The clicking noise, I think, is from the temporary nature of the mount on the Fox Proframe full face helmet I'm using at the moment. Just to test this out, I've attached the mount basically with 2 zip ties and black electrical tape. I think if I mount it with glue, it'll stop the squeaky sound and the audio will be cleaned up immensely. Now this tricky section makes it obvious that I put a foot down here to help me across a rock. You wouldn't see that in the gimbal footage. Again, this kind of exposes all my flaws and my poor, mediocre riding style. I'm not sure this is a good thing. So you got it that this section of upper South Saint Vrain is full of rocks. Basically a riverbed boulder field that we're descending. So let's skip down the trail. So now we're on the lower section of South Saint Vrain, and yes, this has rocks as well. But we'll skip along here, and after a short climb we'll get up to the more interesting, what's known as the, well, if you look at it in Strava, it's called the South Saint Vrain Staircase, aka Brooklyn Bobsled. This is a very steep and was extremely technical descent back down to basically a Jeep road. But now it's been reworked by Boulder Mountain Bike Alliance, and it's still technical, it's still fun, but it's got a better flow to the trail at the moment. But this view really shows, I think, the steepness of the descent that we're doing here. It's about a 35% grade in places, perhaps even steeper in some aspects. The whole thing averages around 30% grade, so it's deeper in parts, shallower in other areas. And this helps really kind of show some of the technical nature of it from a point of view perspective. I think this is a good view of the chin mount on the helmet cam.
Missed the corner. The last corner's hard. Nice downhill, but it's physically exhausting. It takes so much effort to work those boulders.
Now the other advantage of the camera is that it enables me to show stuff at the side, like a quick flick to the left there, again that you wouldn't get on the gimbal footage. So it's more dynamic. It allows me, if I was to chat to another person, you'd see the person in frame. You can't do that easily with the gimbal. Now don't get me wrong, the gimbal's great, the smoothness is awesome, but this does provide a different level of dynamism to the video. Now about that surprise at the end, keep an eye on the dogs.
Right through. Thank you, have a good day.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the angle of the Hero 7 on a chin mount full face helmet. Obviously I wouldn't use this setup all the time because I don't wear full face all the time. It gives certain benefits for when I do. Let me know.